Hip-hop moments of clarity.
Hip-hop moments of clarity.
What's up? This is Vanessa Staten, editor-in-chief of Double XL. We're with Hip-Hop Moments of Clarity podcast. We got Wayno.
What's good, y'all? What's goody?
JFK.
What up, what up?
Roger, with his new glasses.
Go home, Roger.
And Barry, who's not saying much today.
What's good?
All right, what's going on this week besides the Nav bullshit? It's, let's start with Jeezy retiring.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
End of an era.
No
Yes.
more cocaine, man. No more coke talk from Jeezy.
No more thug motivation?
I need some motivation. I'm no longer a wannabe thug, but I need some motivation.
I just don't know what you do. What does he do now?
Right.
He made a lot of money off that what's that shit? Avion.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
he might have Jeezy might have cashed out. You know what I mean? Did something else other than
He
that.
probably got money from the Snowman t-shirts that he was.
Jeezy up. Jeezy up. I mean, my whole thing with the Jeezy shit is just like, I hate to hear rappers say they're retiring because it's like, does that mean, that doesn't mean, excuse me, that doesn't mean that we're not going to get music anymore. But it's like, what does that mean? Like,
Right.
I don't know.
I just find it hard for him to kind of like leave the game. in
Who
general.
successfully retired?
Young Berg. Seriously,
That's true.
he fully stopped rapping. I mean, he retired from recording music.
Right.
But he has, I mean, recording music as himself, but he's still making music
Yeah.
as hit maker, but he retired as Young Berg.
You could also say Chamillionaire. He's
Chamillionaire,
making money.
yeah.
Yo, he's getting his
World.
bag.
Yeah.
Didn't Lloyd Banks just retire?
Yeah.
But then he
but
didn't.
Then he unretired.
Ah,
Next
I
day.
just, I don't know. I think,
Lloyd Banks is a rapper. He's rapped forever.
Yeah.
but it's, you know the thing that I've
He raps
noticed?
in the shower, probably.
Right, like he's always thinking of
He's always
punchline.
rapping.
Like
always thinking of punchline.
Like, you know,
Punchline king.
I always imagine like a Marion is always dancing. Like Banks is just always rapping.
Yeah, that's it, you know?
Didn't Banks have a kid recently?
Yeah, he did have a kid
Yeah,
recently.
man. I mean, you know, life is different, and I think Banks was just not one of the artists that like was able to transition from what it was before to what it is today.
I think he's too
Right.
much of a purist lyricist to accept what's going on.
Yeah,
today.
he's not jacking none of this shit. But I mean, me personally, I would like to hit like even he does those mixtapes that are kind of cool, but I would like to just hear like 5-song, really strongly concentrated EPs, from
Right.
him,
Mm-hmm.
you know, as opposed to like just a mixtape of him just rapping fully. You know, I mean, I never can accept rappers retiring. Like, what is that?
Yeah, I just don't
Yeah.
see that happening. You know, like, look at Jay.
Jay's
How
never
many
like,
comebacks?
yeah, Jay's been retiring since his first album.
Exactly.
Seriously, he
yeah.
said that his whole thing was to drop one album, get the money off that, and then for them to do other shit. He's never he's
But you know, kind of who retired industry-wise, I feel like Dame Dash.
yeah, but I don't
Yeah, he
think
sort of bowed out.
the industry kind of retired Dame Dash in a sense. I mean, and I mean that with all respect due, like because
That was a hard one to accept as respect due, though.
I feel it. But the thing was, it was like, you know, with Dame, I just think that once people felt like they didn't need him to get the J anymore, they just didn't want to deal with him, you know. But he still did more shit after that. He still did the Blue Rock stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he
Black
started
Keys.
Black Keys, DD 172 or D.
Poppington.
172, yeah.
Poppington, yeah.
Think about that DD 172 thing though, right? You got everybody coming through to that one spot as a one-stop shop. Now everybody kind of does that now, but you had J Electronica in there, Currency, Wiz, Stolly at the time, you know, Smoke
Ski
Dizza.
Beats.
Ski
Yeah.
Beats, producing everything. Like that was an ill moment. I don't think that moment gets enough credit. But what is
True.
retirement in hip hop?
I don't know.
I mean, you retiring anything?
I don't know.
I'm not. There's too much money in this shit, B. Try and get it. It's
Yeah.
too much money.
But the ironic thing, though, is when you say you're retiring, that's when people want you to not retire. If you would
Right.
have just stopped
That's
putting
they
out
have to give a
music.
fuck about you. Like, that's the whole
Right.
thing. You obviously weren't retiring or thinking about retiring if you feeling like everything was thriving.
Right.
But you get to a certain point where you're like, okay, maybe I'll move on. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But if you were the most huge thing on the planet, I don't think anybody then is saying, well, you know what? I'm thinking about retiring.
Right.
Right. Yo, I
But
tweeted
didn't
something.
SZA say that or something?
Really?
Am I
Yeah,
making that
she
up? I
did.
saw it on an
She did?
Instagram thing the other day.
It was, yeah. It was,
She said that when she was trying to get before she got an album out, right?
yeah, that. And then she was also like, if she would have won a Grammy, then she would have retired from music, basically. And so she thinks that God did not, you know, bless her with the Grammy this go around because he knew that she had more to do musically, and that would have.
And then she said, SZA says her next album
I wish
will
y'all
be
could see
her
my
last
face.
album.
We got to make a Wayno face counter because I can feel my face like
They still can't see it through the
I know,
podcast.
but
We're gonna hit you with the
We'll
Russell
just
Westbrook
go to the
face.
Instagram right now. You'll see Wayno's
I know, right?
face.
We got to do the like get Twitter Picasso to draw my face, like, cause my face be crazy, like that
So we're
thing.
gonna take pictures of your face in
Right.
different then
moments.
put it up, and this is how Wayno's feeling right now.
So
But
to
she
your
did
point,
say this was her last album that she's doing. I think it was yesterday or the day before. So it says her next album will be her last.
Right.
come
Yes,
on.
that's right. Mm-hmm.
come on, man, stop it. Like,
You're a brand new artist still.
I heard something the other day, and they said you should always have 2 careers. And I was like, you know what? That is smart. And I guess maybe rappers should have 2 careers, or artists.
I think you should always have 7 to 8 hustles.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Facts.
You know, you should have 7 to 8 hustles. But look, to your point about like caring when
Caring?
like remember what we were saying about
okay.
like, you know, people care only when you say something about it. I tweeted something
Right.
today, and I said, it's okay. Is it okay for us to care now and not when something detrimental happens, or do y'all still consider that dick riding?
I love how we're reading
Right.
off of his Twitter account to discuss his thoughts on his tweets. It's very, what's that movie?
Sponsored tweet.
Deception or something.
Sponsored tweet, right, Jay? But the reason why I said that is because it's like I don't like the fact that anytime you give somebody some sort of appreciation, everybody deems it as like you're doing too much. It's like,
Right.
I don't want to have to wait till my favorite entertainer dies for you know what I mean, for us to really care about them. It's like, not that anything's wrong with Banks or SZA or any of them, but you know, music can get very frustrating, and sometimes you just don't want to deal with this shit at all, you know.
Yeah.
But who knows? I don't know what hip hop retirement is.
We'll find out from Jeezy.
TM104 is gonna be his last album. Which
Right.
I mean,
The plug.
I would actually prefer to hear a Recession 2 as a way to go, especially with what's going on in the world now. But you know, that's just me.
What we like? Is it a recession? Were we ever in a recession?
But according to Bill Gates, there will be another recession soon.
You know what?
So
Me being
I guess
black,
that's his comeback album.
Right.
I don't know. Like, as a black man, as a black person, I don't know what a recession is. I never remember my mom having a good year. Like, for real,
Right.
for real. Like, I'm just being dead serious. Like,
That's real.
I never remember my mom having a year when shit wasn't tough. So I don't know, like, with this whole. I mean, me myself, I've had some good times myself, you know, financially and career wise. But I don't know what.
Yeah, but that
is.
recession, they like, you know, it's 50,000 people are fired, 10,000 people are fired.
From where, though?
Or
Like,
laid
fucking-
off. Companies, shutting companies down. All I
Yeah.
remember is there used to be a Saab, like a car called Saab.
Yeah.
And it doesn't exist anymore.
Oh wow. Yeah.
And it was lost during the
Saab,
recession.
right.
And I
I
still
forgot
think
about
about that
that.
to this
Wow.
day. I was like, Saab was the biggest loser from the recession because the car just doesn't exist anymore. But so we might lose a car, I guess.
But you know what's crazy? And
Goodbye,
when-
Kia.
when politicians always say these jobs, I don't know what fucking jobs they're talking about. Like, you know when politicians always say, yo, you know, we have to go get back these jobs. Like, we got to get these jobs. I'll be like, what jobs are y'all talking
Right,
about? Like,
right.
what the fuck is y'all talking about? Like, because I've been trying to get into Con Ed forever. I feel...
All my friends have been trying to work at Amtrak for years.
Yo, I ain't gonna lie. I really feel like with the career I'm having, like sometimes I really get the urge to get a job, like a real job. Because I really always wanted to work at Con Edison. Because all my friends used to tell me about how you don't really got to do shit. You get all this money. MTA too.
Overtime.
Yeah, you go all this no fucking night and weekend differential pay. I'm like, word, like you could really
You get overtime?
Yeah,
What?
like-
Time and a half?
Yeah,
what are you
man.
talking about?
fucking time
I
and a
fly to
half.
Atlanta for the weekend. There's no time and a half.
Right.
Let's do it.
I really be flying places and don't get paid for that shit. Like, I gotta wait for 7 months for the result to get paid from that check.
For real.
And hoping everyone doesn't shit on it.
Yeah, right. I gotta hope the artist actually becomes some shit. I want a regular fucking job. If anybody from Con Edison is listening, fucking hire me.
Call Wayno.
Call Wayno, call V. She's brokering a fucking deal. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm getting a cut of the Con Ed deal.
Right.
I'm getting at least a month free on my next bill.
At least a month. Come on. I got you, V. PSNG, PSENG, holla at me. You know what I mean? Like, you know how the people be like, yo, Def Jam, yo, Rock Nation, all y'all need to holla at me, yo. Walmart, holla at me, man.
UPS was good.
UPS was popping. Are y'all still hiring since what Biggie said?
Right.
Like,
And
for
what are your
real.
benefits like?
What are the benefits? There ain't no fucking benefits in this shit.
All right, moving on. Jacquees arrested for not wearing a seatbelt, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got a little messy.
Mm-hmm.
I
Got
don't really know
roughed
what
up.
to say about this one. It was fucked up.
Yeah.
That-
He's so little, man. Like, no, he's so little. That's kind of fucked up that they.
How do they manhandle him like
Yeah,
that?
like he's so little. Like you ain't really got to do much to get him to understand your point. Like,
Right.
you know. But it's just like it's the police, man. Like, Cops is just, man, they not cool. I'm sorry. I'm saying it. Fuck that. They just not cool people most of the time, man. They always make shit bigger than what it is. Okay, I don't support not driving with your seatbelt on because that shit is like a natural reaction anytime I get in my car. I immediately put my seatbelt on. I have friends who've died in car accidents, motorcycle accidents, all that shit from safety. So I do support rocking your seatbelt. But like, do you really gotta?
Just a precursor. Wayno supports seatbelts.
I support seatbelts.
Good, it's a good thing.
Right, but do they gotta really do that to my man?
All of that?
Like
Yeah, come on, man. He like 5'4", dog. Like, what you... But did he get out of line? Like, did he get crazy with them?
No, not even.
No.
Not really.
Not
Oh,
even.
now that's foul,
But he
yo.
smiled on his way out.
Yeah, from what I heard, he didn't want to show out his license
ID,
or something
right?
like
He's like,
that.
yeah.
His
He
ID.
probably didn't have one.
Or he didn't want to show his real age. It's usually the case. No. I don't know how old he is. I'm just kidding.
My nigga Jacquees. Where's he from?
Jacquees land.
Not sure.
Haiti.
His name is Jacquees, right? Like,
Let me
Jacquees.
see.
Birdman
right?
land. I don't know.
Birdman Land.
I just feel like he's hanging out in Cash Money World.
Birdman Landa.
Jacquees.
Right.
Right. Nah, but Jacquees, you
From
know,
Decatur, Georgia.
Yeah,
How did we
Decatur.
not know that already?
Yeah.
I think we knew that.
I thought he
Decatur.
was from New Orleans. I was about to
Yo,
say.
Decatur is very.
too.
That was Georgia.
No.
That had Georgia all over it.
Y'all been to Decatur before?
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah, I've
To a
been to
strip
Decatur.
club.
Yo, Decatur is crazy. I went to Decatur one time. My cousin was living in Georgia. I went to one of my friends' cribs, and I went to pull the toilet paper, and the roach popped out.
Oh.
What?
Yeah, Decatur's crazy. Well, I ain't gonna just put that on Decatur, but that's one of the experiences I had when I was in Decatur. You know what I mean? Nah, but that's messed up, man. They did my man Jacquees like that, man. He actually has the kids fucking with him too, and with the music shit.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
people actually like him more than.
Wait, he
you
had
know?
a bigger buzz. It fell off. Now he's starting to build it back up.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely is.
Yeah, don't lose the buzz, man. Keep working, Jacquees. You know, and wear your seatbelt, my brother. But don't take nothing from them police. Take nothing from them police.
Him and Tory got into it some years back, right? I
Really?
think like a year.
Tory get into it with everybody.
With everybody. With everyone. Yeah.
Tory is fucking
Yeah.
Smokey Robinson. He wants all the smoke. Like, he wants all smoke. I'm here for it, Tory. Tory look like he would be one of them people that like, yo, bro, like, let's just do MMA. Let's do an MMA fight.
Probably.
Me and you, right?
Tory don't want.
Lord, let's
Can you
play ball.
imagine?
Let's play ball. That's
Right.
Tory.
I could imagine
Oh,
it
the
because
jumper.
Yeah, the jumper.
the dude, I was taking a jiu-jitsu class, and the dude that was teaching me was like Tory Lanez height, and he's dangerous as a motherfucker. You know what I mean? So I could see Tory Lanez busting out some MMA moves on a motherfucker too.
I know he don't want the smoke with Wiz though. Wiz
Nah,
Khalifa is
Wiz.
out here.
Yo, you know what's so funny? I said that. I was like, yo, we got Wiz, we got MMA Wiz, right? We got Kung Fu Kenny. We got Samurai Lupe. Right? We got Samurai Lupe. We got so many like martial art adaptations of like hip hop artists. Put them all in Mortal Kombat. See who comes out.
Facts.
You know what I mean? I'm gonna do that bracket.
And
Let
I'm
me
going
do
back
that
to the
bracket.
bowl off.
Huh?
Just have everybody bowl against each other.
A bowl off? That would be cool too. That would be a bowl off, but
You saw OT Genesis get his strike.
No,
yo,
I didn't
OT
see that.
Genesis, yeah,
Yeah.
he caught a strike from the bench. Like he jumped.
Really?
Like from weird.
Yeah, he does that shit for real. Like OT Genesis look like one of the people. Like if he was up here and you said something about bowling, he'd be like, "Yo, nah, I take that shit dead serious."
And then he pulls his shoes out. his
right, he
bowling
pulls his
shoes.
shoes out. Right, and C walks up to the
I was
lane.
always curious why more people didn't wear bowling shoes on some like I'm gonna be weird and extra or something.
Well, these fucking Balenciagas
Right.
look like bowling
Exactly.
shoes.
Huge.
Yeah, they make all these silly ass shoes now. They look like bowling
The
shoes.
dad shoes.
Dad shoes, yeah.
Dad
I got some. The
I was so
990s.
confused when dad shoes and dad bodies became the thing.
Dad hats.
Dad
Yo,
hats,
I went to. Yeah, I don't like
dad
that hats.
jokes, the whole thing.
Is that just like rappers getting old?
Is that all
and-
Wayno? Is that
Right.
you're the dad, right?
I'm the dad. I don't wear none of that shit. I wear bathing ape and shit like that. You know what I mean? I think I'll never be that fucking dad. Like I'm always gonna be the dad that like people is like, yo, you really got kids? Like for real? Because I just don't want to conform to a certain ideology of what I should be. But you know who's like that? My dad. My dad wears all types of silly shit. He dressed like Amigo.
No,
I'm dead serious. Listen, my dad, he dresses. One day I got on him because he had on a shirt and it had a zipper, but the zipper didn't open. I was like, why the fuck do you have a zipper on your shirt and it doesn't
A
open?
non-functional zipper,
Yeah,
right?
no, like, what's that about? Yeah, I don't, I'm always be streetwear dad.
Streetwear dad.
Nike
All right,
tags all day.
moving on to a non-streetwear dad.
Right.
What's it called? So we have Little Xan still getting heat. So Little Xan, I mean, I don't know. Poor little Zan.
Oh,
Yeah, so Little Xan over the weekend was trying to have a meet and greet with his fans, and apparently there was like a group of kids that came in there repping Tupac and asking him like, "Yo, why don't you like Tupac?" and trying to press him for that. And
they had to call the cops.
They had to call the cops, and then Little
to escort him out.
But did Lil Xan call the cops? Because he said, "Am I supposed to not fuck with the cops because I'm a rapper?"
Exactly.
He said, "Rapper?
I don't rap about gangsters. I'm not a gangster."
Yeah. I mean, you know what? The fucking goons came out for Lil Xan, man. But them kids is trolls. They don't give a fuck about no Tupac. I'm gonna just keep it 100 though. I'm keeping it all the way real and all the way transparent, right? Xan is like what, 21 years old, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. These Diego, whatever you call yourself. These 16-year-olds will whoop your ass. I'm just letting you know, if you 16 and you come up on me on some rah-rah shit, I'm decking you, B. I'm decking you. And we gonna sort this shit out later because 16-year-olds will whoop your ass.
If you hit a 16-year-old.
Guess what though? These fucking 16-year-olds, they eating all this Popeyes and shit with all the hormones in it. They be big as shit.
Hell yeah.
Yo, my little brother was 6'4" at 14.
Because of all the Popeyes he ate?
Probably. He was eating all types of shit. But I'm just saying, like, you all big and shit. You know what Lil Xan?
Wait, so he did call, allegedly,
right.
The report is that he did call the cops for safety, which I think you could take it to that example. Like, I don't remember, what was it? Chief Keef and the producer dude? What was the producer? Remember he ran in on the producer and beat the producer up? What was that dude's name? And the guy called the cops and he was like, "Why? I'm not a gangster. Why should I not call him? I'm not street dude. Why should he come in my house and beat me up or whatever?" Everything I'm saying, I'm paraphrasing.
Right.
But it reminds me of that. It was like, God, I forgot what that guy's name was.
I remember that.
Ramsey the Great.
Yes.
Ramsey
right,
the
exactly.
Great.
Wasn't he said he was gonna sue him, right?
Yeah.
Well, there was like more of a story after it with him than that I'm forgetting. But it is a good conversation. It's like, if you're involved in hip hop, should you completely eliminate the cops even when you're in a controversial situation? So if Xan felt not safe,
right,
is it wrong for him to call the cops if he doesn't feel safe because he raps?
I ain't mad at Xan because Xan ain't that type of dude. Like, Xan ain't out here running around portraying like he's some sort of gangster. You know, he ain't but 100-something pounds himself. He's a little guy. I think, like, I'm not gonna hold him accountable for calling. It's always just a funny thing in hip hop when somebody calls the police, because the police is such a thing not to do in hip hop. Yeah, it's an anti thing. But I mean, I'm not mad at Lil Xan. If he was truly scared for his safety, then you know it's whatever. But I got a problem with all these gangsters. If you a gangster and you talking that gangster shit and you call the cops, it's definitely a problem. You know what I mean? But
I don't think that's him at all. You know, in that situation, I think it sounds like he was in a situation that they weren't expecting,
right,
and they felt threatened to whatever degree.
Does he have security? He should. I doubt he does.
I mean,
he does now.
Yeah.
Probably now.
I would assume he does now.
Yeah, he should, man.
Does he deserve as much hate as he's getting
No,
for the comments he made?
No.
He
Oh wait, so then Rich Homie Quan said what? He's the wackest rapper out right now.
He was asked on Big Boy's radio show recently. They asked him who was the wackest rapper out right now, and Rich Homie Quan automatically said Lil Xan, and it was because of the Tupac comments.
Yeah, that's not
and
fair.
then he defended himself on forgetting the Biggie lyrics.
And then
of
they
course
brought up
he
the
did.
Biggie stuff to him, and he was like, "Oh well, at least I didn't respond the way that Lil Xan did, but he did forget the lyrics of Biggie."
But you know what? That's not fair to Xan, man. Like, he just really should just say, "Yo, I don't really know Tupac music like that." Which even if he would have said
Anything
that,
he says now won't work.
Anything he says now won't work.
And then he wore a T-shirt of Tupac the other day too.
Xan, just make a hit record.
That was unnecessary.
Yeah, that was now you wildin', you know. But I mean, the thing with all of these artists, like with Rich Homie Quan, it's like, even with the Biggie shit, I don't think that he should have faced as much scrutiny, only because Rich Homie Quan is an artist from the South,
Right.
and like for myself, it's a lot of shit from the South that I know, but it's a lot of shit I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I remember, I've been going to Atlanta since like 99 because one of my cousins moved down there. And I remember going to this club, Esso's, in Atlanta, and hearing all these songs that everybody knew word for word that I'd never heard a day in my life. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like, but I really love Outkast. And I could recite Outkast bars, but I wouldn't have like a Boogie like if we're doing a tribute to Outkast, I wouldn't fucking have A Boogie do Outkast.
Right.
You know,
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I wouldn't have Don Q spitting Outkast bars. He's probably gonna forget that too because he didn't grow up on that shit. So it was kind of unfair to him. But I think it's unfair for Quan to be like, now it's the cool thing to shit on Zan. Right. You know, I wouldn't call him the wackest rapper.
No,
you know?
I mean, the only issue was he just didn't know how to respond to that question, and unfortunately he needed some media training for that. But yeah, you can't blame him. He didn't grow up in the Pac era. So
yeah, it's like, though, I'm not like, honestly, Tupac died in '96. Zan is 21, right?
Right.
I mean, I don't know no songs from 1982. That's the year I was born. I don't know no songs from that. Like, I know songs prior to that because of my mom playing certain shit around the house to clean up. And I would go back and listen to it, but everybody's not gonna do that.
Right.
I mean, you got to look at how certain people grew up. He's a Mexican kid.
Yeah.
He's probably not listening to a lot. Well, I can't say that because a lot of Mexicans, please don't come for me about Pac, because I know, the essays, please don't come for me about Pac. But, you know, Tupac might not mean the same thing to everybody. Right. You know, we just got to accept that.
What his family grew up on, either Spanish music or, you know, hip hop, and they didn't play it for him. He didn't pick up on it. So.
Exactly.
But did anybody come at him and was like, well, let me give you a walkthrough of what you should know. Here's the essential Tupac to get yourself familiar?
No, because
that would have been the right thing, I think, for like an older statesman in hip hop to kind of reach out and be like, listen, you know, let's bridge the gap, or let's do something like that.
But they never bridge the gap.
No one cares about bridging the gap.
Yeah, they just want to shit on everybody.
Care about getting views and posts and likes and hey. Blah, blah, blah.
I mean, wasn't the whole Q-Tip and Iggy Azalea thing? Wasn't that a thing where he came through and tried to educate her a little bit, and then she sort of like brushed him off or like dismissed him a little bit?
I remember that happening, but I remember.
You know what?
It was something weird,
I hate the fact that like we're always just so dismissive of our youth, and then that in turn makes our youth dismissive of the elders. And that's why we never really get to connect. But you know what? And this is just me speaking for myself. Like, I like to have conversations with the younger guys. You know what I mean? And see what makes them tick. Because a lot of things that made me tick, the older guys wasn't into.
Right.
You know, so I think, you know, we definitely need a better dialogue between the youth and the elders in hip hop.
But how? Like, what's the dialogue? Where is it going to happen? What does that mean?
I mean, I think now that we're in such of a big content era, we just got to figure out how to do it with the content. I said it before that I would love to see Chuck D and Young Thug have a conversation. Right. You know, I mean, even Flavor Flav. I would like to see Flavor Flav have a conversation with some of these young dudes, because when I was young and Flavor Flav was like a young hip hop artist, he looked crazy to people. They're like, yo, this motherfucker's running around with a clock around his neck. Right. Like, that was crazy. So it's like, okay, let's do some fun shit. Put 6ix9ine with Flavor Flav and let them have a conversation and let them talk about that outlandishness. Like, look at Old Dirty Bastard. Yeah. Old Dirty Bastard was one of the most outspoken, off the fucking wall, greatest creatives that I've ever seen. And you got a lot of artists today that have that in them, and we just don't know how to communicate, because we like, yo, that shit is not fucking boom bap. That shit is not the tradition of what we are. Fuck that shit. But guess what? Wu-Tang wasn't rapping like fucking Kool Herc in them. Right. And
they were probably getting the same hate.
Man, Wu-Tang, they ran with a whole narrative of fucking Chinese influence, karate movies. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're more, but think about this. They're more appreciated worldwide than they are home. Like, kids hear Wu-Tang be like, man, I don't listen to that shit. But why, though? You know what I mean? Like, without Wu-Tang, there would be no Odd Future.
And you go to a Wu-Tang show, 85% of the crowd is white.
I mean, white people just like buying hip hop more than black people do.
There are a lot of white people out there. That's also part of it. There's like a lot of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's always like a factor to me. Like, there's a bunch of them out there.
Yeah, it's like people act like hip hop is this secret thing that nobody can touch but black people, and Spanish people. No, it's not for you, white people.
And Indian.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the Indian.
They're the only ones allowed.
Right. Come on.
Yeah.
They're leaders. Yeah.
Come on, man. I mean, just like hip hop is for everybody, yo. Like, let's just keep it a band. But, you know, we were talking about, like, you know, how we have our off-air moments, and we were talking about, you know, with hip hop, how we're so picky and choosy about what means something to us. And, like, you know, with the Vita 21 and G-Eazy.
Those are our new covers, 21 and G. Nice segue.
Yeah, look, I'm learning. Look, you see that shit? Oh, come on, Jay, give me a pound for that one, Jay. I'm learning. Listen, this is my first. Y'all have given me all the media training, not me. Give me a Tonight Show, y'all. Tomorrow, like, let's do it.
Let's do a talk show.
Yeah, but I think like some shit is like in hip hop, and it being like hip hop's almost like basketball. It's like this black dominated culture, and it's like when we look at it, it's like we don't want no white person can make money off a black person in hip hop. If you make money off of a black person in hip hop, you're fucking stealing their shit. How you gonna get funding sometimes? You know what I'm saying?
Right, right.
I'm wondering if you want to open up a McDonald's and you have the business plan and all that, and then it's a white guy that wants to fund you. It's people like, yo, don't take that money. Like, don't take that money from that white man. Like, don't do that. It's only in hip hop, you know what I mean? But we're so picky and choosy on what means something to us versus what doesn't, what we accept. Like G-Eazy's too white, but then a person who's not white enough, we don't embrace them enough until they spit 1,000 bars over Beanie Siegel or over Nori's band from TV.
Well, we did G-Eazy and 21 because it's cool that such two different artists could exist right now and be successful, I think, you know?
Right.
I mean, they're nothing similar, and they don't have the same audience probably. There's probably some crossover, but still at the same time, they're both existing and winning in hip-hop right now, which with touring, with singles, with everything. So, I mean, it kind of speaks for itself. You know, we can all be haters as much as we want, but what's winning is winning, fan-wise, money-wise, what's out there. You know, I think Jeezy sold Radio City Music Hall out last night and had a huge show. And you can't ignore that kind of thing. And if you choose to, then you're being a bit ignorant to what's going on in the grand scheme of the culture.
Yeah, I think you couldn't deny G-Eazy's growth. I mean, he's been putting in the work for years already. And
he's got the cosigns from legitimate artists. It's not like people say they don't work with him. No, they're now on tour with him. They're now collaborating with him.
He got YB and Namir on his tour.
Yeah.
That's big, yo. Like, that's a great opportunity for YB and Namir. It bugged me out kind of because I didn't know where it was coming from. It's like, why they don't make the same music, right? But at the same time, it's like, it's a great opportunity. And my thing is, it's just like, why are we so... It's like, yeah, G-Eazy, he does music, but he's not Eminem. It's like, it's always...
Can't
like
compare, like...
People, but they gonna compare him because they're white. Let's just be 100.
Always
like,
gonna happen, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if you white and you can shoot, they're gonna compare you to Larry
Just
Bird.
like they compare the female rappers
Real
with each
shit.
other, yeah.
Right, exactly.
Real shit. Like, for real. Steve Nash, when Steve Nash was doing everything he was doing, they compared him to John Stockton because he's white.
Right.
And he's a point guard. Exactly. Like, they're just gonna, they're gonna do that. They'll always compare. Things will always be compared. My thing is just like, stop acting like this shit don't mean nothing just because one person isn't on the same level as what came before.
Right. Or it's just different, just in general.
Right.
He's also on tour with Little Uzi.
Uzi's on that tour.
The Endless Summer tour, right?
Yeah.
That's gonna be lit.
It's gonna be big.
Yeah, man. Uzi, send me a ticket, man. That's my
I'm
dog
sure
right
Uzi's
there.
listening too.
Right. Uzi gonna listen. Yo, rappers pay attention to more shit than we give them credit for. Because we be thinking that rappers have these... They're not busy all the time. They don't... Rappers' lives are boring. They don't do nothing but buy shit.
That's pretty much it. Go to the mall.
They look at their Instagram a lot.
Yeah, they look at their Instagram all fucking day.
A lot.
And buy shit all day. Buying shit can be boring.
Buying shit and DMing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. XXX puts out an album. People like it. He's let off of house arrest. What happens next?
XXX, I'm just saying this right now. And I'm not saying this off of this album, but I believe that in his career, he's going to get nominated for like a Grammy or some shit.
Absolutely. I'm with you.
I believe that.
I think he's like eclectic, just a talented kid. This last album proved like once again that this kid is the future. Like, he's just like, I don't know. You're getting all sorts of music with him. He's rapping. He does the shit with Joey Badass.
Right.
Crazy record.
Right.
Then he does something. I don't speak Spanish.
The XXX fan.
Yeah.
Oh, that shit, right? He's going in.
Nah, I am. I'm a huge fan, and I just think super talented.
Huge
we need
fan.
that.
We got there.
Nah, we need that.
Nah, absolutely. You know what's crazy about X is like, I'm kind of learning to kind of get used to this new wave of like albums because majority of the albums
You
I
mean
grew up,
18 songs on a record, but
No,
the
not
record's
that.
38 minutes long?
that's one thing, but I mean, you know, records a lot of
Good
the
That
locks.
blows my mind.
Good
Like,
point.
albums are like 72
And
minutes
it's
long
2
on
minutes
a
songs,
disc.
yeah.
Yeah.
But the locks like that, I remember We Are the Streets was like 18 or 19 songs.
Yeah.
But what I mean by that is there's no continuity in the sound where the songs kind of jump from one place to another place. It's like the record with Joey.
It's like genre hopping almost.
Yeah, the record with Joey Badass and X on his album. I was fucking with that shit, and then the next joint was totally different. I'm like,
shit or something
it kind of fucks me up. Like it kind of is like, you know, I'm not in a certain way. You know what I mean? I'm not in a certain way, and then I just get thrown off. Like, oh, I didn't know this was coming.
Where the Streets was 69 minutes long.
See, how many tracks was it?
Like 19.
18.
I think, right?
Yeah,
18.
18. Cause We Don't Give a Fuck About You was the last record.
Yep.
Sure, when they did Diddy.
Yeah. When it on Diddy.
Big fan of the lock.
Yeah.
I am. But yeah, I mean, I think X is gonna have a great career, and he's already having a great career. I mean, once he gets all of his, you know, legal troubles behind him, if he's able to do that, and he's able to, you know, he's really young. What is he? 19 years old?
Yeah, around there.
Yeah, man. I mean, yo, this kid is doing. He just did. Well, he's projected to do like 100-something thousand.
That's crazy.
His first week.
And it's
crazy, right?
Yeah.
His singles is now like above God's Plan by Drake, the sad single. Yeah.
And he did 88K on his first album, which was with Empire. So no, this kid he's really carving out a lane of business, and everybody just calling him weird.
He just turned 20.
He just turned 20. Yeah. Oh nah, he's gonna be watch. He just gotta. He has to get away from all the antics and all the bullshit in his life.
No, he got to get over his case.
Yeah.
Whatever's going to happen in the case has to play itself out at this point.
Absolutely.
Whatever's going to happen there, because that's just going to stand over him until whatever it is that happens. Right. Once he gets over that, guilty, innocent, whatever, the next thing, he can move on to the next thing or see how to deal with it. But it's all about that case. Because even if you want to interview him, all you want to interview him talking about is the case.
Yeah.
That's the problem. So it's very hard for him right now to maneuver.
Right.
Because
he can't talk about it.
He can't talk about it. And that's what anybody does want to talk about. And people don't know how to write about him. Are you co-signing it? Because you're waiting for it. So he's dealing with a lot until that gets resolved, I think.
Right.
And you can tell he's maturing too, just as a person, because he's not on. When we first started knowing of X, he was all over Instagram stories, talking crazy, talking wild. Now he barely goes on there, and when he does, it's kind of like a positive message.
Yeah, he just has to run his race.
But he's being very political. He puts it up, he deletes it.
Yeah.
There's one there. He follows 0 people. He follows one thing. You know, I mean, he's being very conscious about the whole social movement he's got.
Yeah, he has to run his own race. That's all.
It reminds me a little bit of Tyler, like the eclecticness, the artisticness, and how in the beginning of his career it was a lot of troll type, you know, grab your attention type of stuff. Yeah. And you're really seeing him get into his artistry. So like I want to see him like when he starts working with a producer that knows how to bring it all together and like polish it. And
well, that's the thing, is that nobody's kind of latched onto him, right, to be the person that's overseeing him, and he's their project, or they're going to get in the studio and show him certain things, certain way. Like we see a lot of people, and they get that big industry dude behind him. He doesn't necessarily need it, but there is something you do learn from that person.
Right. I think people are still a little bit scared too. It's because like he's kind of like a wild card. It's like we're just now seeing this stuff. Like a couple months ago.
He's found guilty of everything, then you've aligned yourself with a terrible story. So that's the challenge right now, is people are dancing around. They don't know how to deal with it because they don't know the outcome of the case, because they don't know if he's guilty or not. And if you get too close, do you look bad? Do you not?
Right.
And he's in kind of that weird
limbo,
right. But he's putting out good music. And so you also have this thing of, if people keep on putting out good music, do we forget whatever your problem was at the same time? So it would be very interesting, I think, with both him and Tekashi, though you don't really want to lump them together as similar music. But what are we talking about a year from now with both of them?
That's interesting. I mean, X has already lasted over a year, right?
Yeah.
I see more longevity in X than Tekashi. And that's because like X is more of a
music's different.
He's a more music. Like that comparison to Tyler was really big, because like Tyler's antics, I wouldn't call it his antics. I say his personality. His personality just was so larger than life that people weren't realizing that this kid knows how to play the piano. That he really he has fucking Roy Ayers on his album, and or samples and all of these different things. The stuff he's doing with Kaliukas, it's like when you look up, he's doing some of the best music to be considered, but people still view him as the kid who ate the roach.
Right.
You know, and that was such a long time ago. But like what X is gonna be, it's a challenge. You know, it's definitely a challenge, but we'll see what happens. I think he'll be all right if he, like you said, V, if he gets over this case.
Right. I mean, the outcome of the case will determine, I think, a lot of how people feel they should feel they should feel about him.
Right.
You know, and all of that. And it'll be interesting to see how it plays out with that. But that's looming over his head.
Right.
Honestly, I'm kind of surprised y'all said that because he reminds me of Cudi.
Really?
I can see that too.
Cudi,
like, the difference in his music and all that shit too. Mm-hmm. He reminds me of Cudi.
Right. No, I get that. I understand that comparison. What's crazy about X is like they view him as this crazy weirdo, but this kid been in jail a lot. Like, you know what I mean? Like he's had like every side of the coin almost in a sense. You know, been in the jail, been like forgotten about, underdog, rising.
He's a very charismatic person in person. I think when you meet him, you like him.
Yeah.
So I think, that's not always the case with everybody.
Right.
I think he's likable when you meet him. He knows how to look you in the face, shake your hand, acknowledge you, have a conversation with you.
Right.
There's sometimes people get nervous or they're just not interested or they don't know how to communicate well. And I think that then when you get with him and you meet him that way, you feel like you want him to win because you like him like that. And you get very confused about all the other sides of things. I think that's the trouble he's dealing with. And people just don't know how to cover him for that reason. Right.
I feel you on that. Like, I've never met X, but a person I've always felt, and Raj knows this, because you know who I'm a big fan of? A Boogie. But like
former freshman.
Right, former freshman. But like when I met A Boogie, it's like he's such a nice guy. I just was like, yo, I don't even know this kid. I just want to see him take over the world. Like, you know what I mean?
I remember you mentioned that.
You remember? I told you, V. I text Raj. I said, Raj, I don't know if I got nomination status yet or not. But if I can nominate somebody for the freshman class, it's A Boogie. You know?
Yeah, I
I
remember
hope it was
that.
last year.
Yeah, it was last year.
Okay, good.
Was it this year? You know? I told you.
But you gave all your picks today this year.
I gave my picks on who I thought should make it. But you know who I'm biggest on, V. I told you who I'm biggest on. Jaden Smith. Jaden Smith is my favorite artist, yo. I swear. I listen to Jaden Smith album every day. I'm serious.
I don't know what to say to that.
I fucking love that album, yo. Yo, I love that album. I told my daughter about
album,
that shit. My daughter was like, "You're bugging." I was like, yo, this shit is fire, yo. Like, fucking 90, that song.
You know
Lost
what?
Boy.
Speaking I was yesterday at the pizzeria grabbing. I don't know what I was doing, but there was a bunch of high school kids somewhere.
Right.
And then they're like, Jay Krish this, and I'm like,
Roger, whatever. You're
no,
a Jay
I'm
Krish fan over
serious,
there.
I'm serious. But I'm like, wow, damn, high school kids in New York love Jay Krish.
Yo, I like Jay Krish a lot, but he doesn't have a tape, right?
There's a tape, yeah.
I mean, the tape is him and Dex, and it's the Rich Forever
Rich
tape.
Forever compilation.
Yeah, I mean, I really like Jay Krish too. I just haven't heard of like a full length body of work with him. But if we're picking like a New York guy, I love Jay Krish. You know what I mean, I really like him. Good kid.
I got nothing.
I'm waiting. Yeah. She can't say nothing.
I'm waiting.
You know what I mean? We can't say nothing.
10th spot next week. This
10th spot.
week, right now.
10th spot.
10th spot next week. Yeah.
10th spot.
Vote.
Ooh.
Who's my? Let me see. Can I pick somebody? You know, I'm not official staff. I'm like Ghostface on Raekwon's album when it comes to Double XL.
Yeah, but we had Joey come in one year and sit down and do a freshman meeting with us where we like debate about it. And were you there for that? And Joey comes in.
I was out of the office that day.
And Joey was in a couple years ago, our staff freshman, and Joey Badass, and he sat down and he came in with a list and he had names and he was ready to go. And at the end, he was like, even my boy's not ready. I didn't realize that you guys took this so seriously.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, my guys aren't even ready. And he had his Pro Era guys he was doing and everything.
Yeah.
So come to a meeting. Hear us argue.
Yeah, let's hit up. I don't know who I would pick for the 10th. You guys got a big
We
responsibility.
don't. You have to vote for the 10th.
Yeah,
we don't.
That's
Oh,
that's
don't
the
put
people's
nine.
vote.
That's the people's choice.
Oh, yeah, you said you. I thought you saying Wayno, because that was
No, you do. You have to go to a computer.
Oh, yeah, I
and
do
click a
got to
thing.
vote?
Yeah.
All right.
Or phone, And,
Well, I don't.
and click.
Jaden Smith has to be in there before the 10th spot. But if I was gonna vote for somebody, who would I vote for? I'll release it on my Twitter after this podcast drops.
Oh.
Yes,
So
lit.
suspenseful, Wayno.
Yeah, B.
I
I've been
will milk
watching a
that
lot of.
opportunity for follows anytime I can.
Absolutely, you know it. Yo, listen, I've been watching a lot of Alien Covenant, and I love Ridley Scott and how he builds suspense. So I'm building suspense now. Fuck it.
You know, Wayno's sitting home on his Twitter all the time, just trying to get his numbers up.
Yeah.
Oh, trying to get my numbers up, B.
I told you, everything.
I ain't gonna I never think of them shits. But you know what? I told y'all, I'm gonna let y'all know when the book comes because we gonna run a nice ad. I'm gonna try to get a nice ad in.
What book?
I can't talk about it yet, V.
Okay.
But you just said
it's a book that's coming, but I can't let y'all know what the book is yet. But when I know what the book is,
The Life and Times of Rappers from Harlem.
Right. Well, I'm not a rapper, but I'm gonna treat this shit like I'm rapping with this book, and I'm gonna come and do my double XL pitch, so we could push my book.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. We'll even give a free copy out on the web.
Yeah, absolutely. Y'all, you can get a free
Sign.
We doing meet and greets, all of that. Listen, y'all did this shit to me. Y'all the ones that turned me into a media personality. I was in the house chilling.
You were waiting for it. You were just waiting for it. All right, what else is going on? My list is done, but I know I left something off that I forgot.
That's it, actually.
What's going
my
on?
list, too.
Anything else anybody want to talk about?
Yes. Can I say rest in peace to this young brother that was killed in Sacramento?
What a story, yeah.
Yeah, I forgot his first name, but me and him share the same last name. But, you know, rest in peace to that young man. Very unfortunate what happened. He leaves behind 2 children and a woman, you know, but that's all I got to say, man. I don't have any answers for none of this shit. But it's always unsettling when you see not just a young black man, but any young person lose their life, not to their fault. You know, it's always unsettling when you see the youth die, because when the youth dies, the future dies. Right. Damn, I'm getting good at these quotes.
Real.
All right, Stephon Clark.
Stephon Clark.
We should have his name correct. I know he had a nickname that he went by, which is not written here, but R.I.P.
Yeah.
That is a sad story. We see a lot of response from hip hop, but I thought we would almost see a little bit more of a response just publicly.
I don't
think nobody knows how to speak on what to do anymore.
Yeah. I think that, like, you know, honestly, I'm not gonna lie, because I don't like to see artists like jump out the window with stuff like this, because a lot of them say uneducated quotes. Right. And by uneducated, I just mean like something not thought through. You can't say, oh, somebody needs to kill a cop. Like, you can't say shit like that. You know, I just think in times I don't even know what to do anymore. Like, I've banded together. I actually was in one of those marches that ran through the city, the biggest one that was like 53,000 people or some shit. I walked through that march. I mean, I don't know what anything else does anymore. You know, I don't know. I'm really lost. You know, I pray that, you know, we have patience on each side. I pray that we can have patience for whatever it is that we're dealing with. And I pray that the police can have patience and learn some how to sustain themselves, you know, because it seems like they're out of control a lot of times. It's like, you thought he had a gun. How do you explain that? I can't imagine somebody having to tell my kids that they're never going to see me again. That shit is real.
Right.
You know what I mean? That shit is real. For your kids to be told, yo, you're never going to see your dad again, and this is the reason why. Like, your kids is going to grow up hating police.
Of course.
There's nothing that you can say, like, nothing. There's nothing.
Do you think there's any responsibility on hip-hop to be vocal about it?
To an extent. I think the right people in hip-hop should be vocal.
The right people.
Yeah, I think the right people. I mean, everybody, you know, with social media, everybody has their voice. Everybody has their opinion. But a lot of people, specifically artists, their opinions are no different than the average person with a phone, because they just make a lot of opinion off of emotion. Yeah. They don't think it through. Like, let's figure out how to have a real conversation. You know, I don't even know if a real conversation works. We've had those, right?
Yeah. I think the challenge too is, like, you know, there's fatigue that comes with this too, where every time someone is killed by the police, it's like the same script that's, you know, over and over, and it's sort of like, I mean, I think from celebrities' standpoint, and then also, like, I have friends that regularly write about race and race relations and things like that, and it can be exhausting, because it's like, what more do you say about something that keeps happening over and over and over? Like, it's the same thing. So, you know, I think from the perspective of the artist or the celebrity, that can be a challenge too. And then, you know, you want it to be genuine and authentic, and to keep fighting the fight without it, you know, becoming just thoughtless, you know, RIP
tweets.
You know what I mean?
And
right.
Instagram posts,
Because, I mean, America is a violent country, and my biggest problem that I have, and just being all honest, is that like certain rules and regulations is made for black people when we do the wrong thing. You know, like if somebody, because I'm not one of those people that just make it seem like, I got a lot of friends that's in prison, and I don't always scream freedom because they did some bullshit. A lot of them have done bullshit, and I'm not saying that, you know, everybody's not Malcolm X. Everybody's not a crusader for justice or some shit. You know, a lot of bad things happen. My thing is this: when this, it's just not equal. It's not equal opportunity when it comes to, is legislation the right word? When it comes to making rules?
Yeah. Like
with legislation, when it comes to like how they come up with these different things, because another tragedy that we face is like, I hate to see a young black man die, but I hate to see young white kids in the suburbs dying because of school shootings and shit. That shit fucks me up because I'm a father. And I don't look, like, when I look at a child, I don't see their color. I see the future, you know? So it's like, it's just like, how do we prevent these things? Then a cop just, his gun went, I mean, not a cop, a teacher. Yeah. His gun went off in a class. Like, what the fuck is that? Teachers with guns in the class?
Like, who's going to send their kids to school?
What, right. Why? Now, and then when we talk about race relations, what happens when a young black kid gets a little bit antsy and the teacher says, I feared for my life.
Exactly.
And shoots this kid. It's like, I don't know how to deal with none of this shit, yo. That's why I just play 2K. And just, I mean, I got to lighten it up a bit. You know what I mean? Like,
what did you think of Drake and Travis Scott and Fortnite and the gamer world collide? Right?
Yeah. I see.
What is Fortnite? Like, is
Fortnite, my son has been trying to get me on this shit for the longest.
And now you're playing it.
No, I still haven't played it yet because my PlayStation doesn't have enough memory. I got the first generation shit. Where it's like every time I add a game, I got to delete like the memory of the last game to play it. But
sounds like my phone.
It's two parts to this, right? Because remember how like now we have all these people wearing Supreme, and the people who are real skaters call the people who wear Supreme posers. Because if you go to a real skater's house, they got hundreds of box logos, right? Before they was reselling for $900 and $1,500.
Blame Tyler.
Right, exactly. Like Tyler made that shit hot.
Tyler made that shit hot, yes.
But and what I mean by that is, I've never known Drake or Travis Scott to play video games. So you're going to have that community of kids that come out like, yo, they fucking posers, man. They don't really do this game shit. We really been doing this shit. Like, that's one of the funniest terms.
Game.
Right. Game. That's crazy. But that's one of the funniest terms in hip-hop is like, we've been doing this shit. You know what I mean? Like, we've been doing this shit.
Meanwhile,
like,
nobody respects you've been doing shit because nobody respects anybody with experience.
Right.
It's all young.
Like, where are we at in the world? But I mean, I think I like the fact that, you know, what it is that people see the numbers. Because the numbers, I had a conversation with a guy that was trying to start, like, you know, some shit within the video gaming community and bridging it between hip-hop. And it's like, why? Because of the numbers. These kids that play video games be winning tournaments. They win $15 million. Crazy. The average video game, the average professional video game player makes more than a rapper. More than a drug dealer. Not trying to be funny.
Dude that Drake was playing, he's making like what, $500,000 a month?
Then you got the kid. This kid is. I mean, I'm in the video games. This kid named Sonic Fox, young black kid in all the fighting games. He's killing it. And the crazy thing about that is like, you know, what I like about it is that when you think of quote unquote the trap, whatever that shit is, right? And you think of dudes in there hustling, but what else are they doing to pass time? Playing video games. So, you know, if we can shed some light on some young brothers and sisters that could play some games, you might have other alternative options to winning in life. Absolutely. Because it's actually a profession now. Like my mom used to get on me because I couldn't fucking divide and do fractions, but I could play 5 different video games and I knew the controls to each one of them shits because of muscle memory. Right. You know? So, for real.
That's real.
It's not real shit. Like, real shit.
You've been doing this.
I've been doing this shit, man.
Muscle memory.
Muscle memory. I've been doing this shit, B. I've been out here. You know? But ultimately, it's for the numbers. Nobody gives a fuck about Drake playing no video games. That's my thoughts on that. You know?
So we're going to leave alone. We're going to leave the Drake,
the Lemon,
NERD, Lemon remix alone?
Yeah, let's leave it.
All right.
I don't want to remember Drake like that. You know when you see a bad picture, you're like, man, I don't want to remember him. Yeah,
Block it out your memory.
Yeah, I want to block that out. The Lemon remix, man. They could have Rihanna killed that shit enough. They could have.
What about Birdman and Wayne back together, or seen back together?
They've been seen a few times though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was a picture that popped up like last year where it was Drake, Wayne, all of the whole Young Money, all of them together.
But they hugged, and then 50 was like, "This is a moment in hip hop." He put it up on his Twitter. I mean, in his Instagram. So everybody stared talking.
Who put
about
it up? Birdman, Lil Wayne did.
50.
Oh, 50 did.
Yeah, was talking about how it was a moment in hip hop.
I don't know about all that.
With them back together.
Yeah, I don't know what it is but you know what? I think in 50 because people are so when they look at 50 they think Yayo and Banks and all of them.
He said this is a real hip hop moment. Hate it or love it, you can't stop it.
Right.
The underdogs on top.
Yeah, right. The underdogs on top, but it's like
Hashtag
the underdogs on top. But it's like with 50, you've seen him like go back and forth with certain people and then rectify a situation. I don't know if it's that though. Like, I think that Birdman just popped up on some shit, and it just like, okay, like we're not gonna kill each other, right? Like,
right.
Yeah, I don't know.
Here tonight.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, man. I mean, I hope that they could get over that shit, but it's a lot of.
Birdman got his paperwork very tight.
Yeah, but man, listen, get your paperwork together,
and I don't know whether Wayne's getting off of that.
Yeah.
But I don't.
Because Wayne's been, Wayne has vocally said a lot of shit, and ultimately, like, I feel like rappers are the most sensitive.
You can say whatever you want. A
planet.
contract. They're gonna hold you. We've seen this with rappers before. Hold you no matter what you want to be off and stuff. So I'm curious behind the scenes what the paperwork's like.
Absolutely, because me personally, I'm just not gonna keep some shit that don't want to be kept, but. Sometimes motherfucker get out of line.
Sometimes people keep them just to fuck up your career.
Absolutely, because I'm
gonna hold you, sit right there until I let you live.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yo, it's crazy because it's like in the midst of all of this, we've seen a 1,000 new Lil Waynes be born. It's not for real. Like all of these kids are like fruit off of Lil Wayne's tree.
Well, they said today, right, that now because of the I don't know what is Shrekley, what's Martin?
Yeah.
How do you say his last name?
Oh, that Culture Vulture?
Yeah. So he lost the Wu-Tang and the Carter 5. That now those albums are in the possession of Jeff Sessions.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Who the hell is Jeff Sessions?
That's Attorney General, right?
It's like a big political thing.
What the hell is he gonna do with a Wu-Tang album?
And give it back. Like, he probably gonna throw. I don't want this shit. And throw that shit out the window or something, man.
Yeah.
Wait, he really bought the Carter 5?
Allegedly,
or was that a rumor?
I don't really know what to make of it. Like, I don't really believe that there's a Carter 5 album that's like some classic, amazing thing that we're not hearing because it's in the possession of the Attorney General.
Yeah, I don't think
I'm not buying that's what's going on.
The Wu-Tang album is real, though.
I don't even buy that like that.
But RZA talked about that.
But is it really all of the guys? Like, is it 8 guys rapping as a group all together, blah, 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 classic Wu-Tang album, weird posthumous verse from ODB? Or is it like a piece together Wu affiliate family, whole bunch of stuff with a bunch of people that were down and they're calling it a Wu-Tang project? I don't know.
My question is this, V, is that shit a CD? Because it might not even work anymore.
Where you gonna play it?
Right.
They're walking around with like little thumb drives.
Yeah,
whatever
like,
the album's
like what is it? Like,
yeah, what is in their possession, right?
Yeah,
what are we talking about? Is it a hard drive that all the music's on? Is it a CD? Is it a thumb drive?
I don't know, but I know technology crashes and people gonna be pissed the fuck off if that's the only copy. RZA got to have a backup, though.
It can't possibly be the only copy. What year is it? There's no way.
Right.
I'm not buying that the only copy of these 2 albums that are totally obscure are owned by a Wu-Tang album that we weren't waiting for.
Yeah.
And a Lil Wayne album, which is the only one we were waiting for.
Yo, no pun intended.
And that they didn't have any copies or any to leak it to anything to it. I just don't know. Right. It all sounds like a bunch of bullshit.
What I was going to say is no pun intended, but I really don't give a fuck about any of that. I really care more about the JFK files than I do any of that shit. Like
JFK?
Real.
Not JFK, but
Our
the JFK. Not our JFK.
Not young JFK.
Yeah, not young JFK. Right. Not young J.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? But yeah, it's like I don't really even care anymore. Like, who cares? Mm-hmm. And I love Wu-Tang to death, but I didn't even listen to the last album that they put out.
Yeah, which wasn't a real Wu-Tang album. That was
it's
like
always
mathematics.
hard for me to listen to a project when I don't feel like you're all cool with each other anymore.
Yeah, yo.
You know, so if for Wu-Tang, I don't get the feeling that everybody's cool in the studio recording as a group. So when you piece something, for me personally, when you piece something together later because you can digitally, and then it's supposed to be an album, but the synergy and the organic element of what would have come out of the studio isn't there.
Right.
It just feels like a weird compilation put together. But I don't know if that's with this project. It's just my guess.
Yeah, I don't know, yo.
It's an obscure Wu-Tang compilation called the Wu-Tang album.
We called the Wu-Tang album.
I have no idea.
For us, by us.
All right. Anything else that anybody could think of that's going on?
Not me.
Did somebody get married?
Somebody get married?
You?
You?
No.
Or you would not
No,
see
you
something?
talking about an artist?
Divorced?
Yeah, artist.
Oh, we had divorces this week.
Oh, divorce.
We have a Logic divorce going down and a Rich the Kid divorce going down.
Okay. Yeah, that's really weird to mix up a marriage.
Yeah, you like, but then if somebody get married though?
I was like, Jabari about to tell us something.
Bari was like, hold up, but somebody got married and y'all ain't even say that.
And I want to talk about love.
Right. I mean, yo, me, respectfully, I'll leave this one alone because divorces are a hard thing. You know, I don't know anything about anybody's woman, but that's, you know, of course, when love is involved, it's a sensitive thing, and I'm not one of those guys that wants to talk about artists' love. Other than the
I wish everybody the best and happiness and everything.
Right. Yeah, peace, love, hair grease, all that shit.
Exactly.
Shout out to Rich the Kid. New album next week. So.
New Freezer went platinum. New Freezer went platinum with one feature.
That's it. Synced up.
Right.
All right, that's it. I think that's all we got this week. It's a slow one.
Yeah.
That's a good show, though.
Shout out to Tommy Kwan before
I told
we
you
go.
we're getting so fucking good at this, yo. Yo, Jabari, has anybody ever told you that you look like Bokeem Woodbine?
I kind of saw it coming that Wayno really wanted to roast this episode, bro. In the beginning, I just knew he wanted to do that.
But you didn't answer.
Yo, I have no response.
Jabari ain't want to be on the mic today. That's why I said he looks like Bokeem Woodbine. He will be back next week, y'all.
Oh my God.
Let's do it.
But you'll post a picture of him before then.
All right, y'all.
Yo, I hate it.